Woo, here's a hot take on this week's episode. Daily habit or practice that you won't miss no matter what.
Just taking the pause and breathing. I think that is really good. And also, like, if there's reaction in life, like they say, like intelligence is pressing pause before pressing send. Like you might be in reaction, and then you'd be like, oh, like I say, if you're upset, write the letter to the person, but don't send it. Just burn it
Yes,
or delete
get
it,
a pause
because at
button.
least process it, work with what's there, and then go, okay, check yourself. What's my relationship to this thing? So if there's a disturbing emotion, like look at it like a scientist looking, through a pet, in a petri dish through the microscope. Like, oh, how interesting! Look at all those interesting little organisms running around. That all those disturbing emotions. How interesting. Okay, what do we do with them?
Level up, don't look back, let's go. Set the pace, watch me steal the show. Higher ground, yeah, I'm rising fast. This is my moment, it's built to last. Keep the focus, keep the drive. No slow motion, I'm alive. Power surging, can't deny. I'm unstoppable, touch the sky.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant podcast. We are going from burned out to balanced, beautiful, and abundant, and we're so happy you're here. Today, I have a very special guest in the studio with me, all the way from Australia. Welcome to the show, Lawrence Ellyard.
Hey, thank you for having me, and it's great to come to you from the future because it's the next day here in Australia, and excited to be on the show.
Well, I'm so happy you time traveled back in time a whole day to join us at the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant show. And I know my listeners are going to be so excited to hear about your illustrious background. So, Lawrence is an amazing person because he is like a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern consciousness. Let me tell you about him. He's had over 3 decades as a wellness practitioner, an educator, and founder of the International Institute for Complementary Therapists. Lawrence has dedicated his life to elevating natural healing, honoring ancient traditions, and expanding access to holistic healing. He is also the founder, innovator, and executive producer of The New Woo, an incredible documentary exploring the reawakening of spirituality, healing, and consciousness in the modern world. So let's dive right into your current project, because I know this is your passion project right now, and I'm sure it's going to be your legacy. I think it's going to be like the next secret. So the New Woo speaks to a reawakening. What is the deeper calling for humanity in this moment, and why do you call it a spiritual reawakening rather than a spiritual awakening?
Yeah, well, I think we're really at a turning point in humanity. There's a real surge and increase in awareness around, wellness, health, and diving into spirituality. And look, I think part of that too is, we had the whole COVID pandemic. It was a time for introspection, a lot of people pivoting to offering wellness online, and how do we do that, and I guess that has opened up a lot of new ways of delivering, information and education. And yeah, so, being in this field for so long, I've just really noticed there's been it's almost like a tsunami wave that's coming, in terms of wellness. And yeah, the idea of the new woo is this concept that, it's ancient wisdom and knowledge that's been practiced in the East for thousands of years, and in different cultures. And what used to be considered, the woo woo about 10 years ago is now just called biohacking. It's called self-care. It's called mental health, right? It's just becoming like it's entering the mainstream. And that it's not about saying, okay, allopathic medicine's bad or we shouldn't do it, or it's us against them. It's actually like, how do those worlds collide? And we're really starting to see that a lot of functional medicine doctors and other, science-based practices are really starting to dive into the quantum. They're looking at, okay, how do we quantify what the ancients have always known. And so there's this deep awakening. We've got together the world's best thought leaders. A lot of people actually who are in the movie The Secret are in the new Wu documentary that we're casting at the moment, and start filming in April this year. So yeah, it's a huge thing. It's a great collision of wisdom, a great collision of thought leaders and minds that are all about wellness and turning people's consciousness on, and in a way that supports their wellness and health, and to make the world a better place, right? So that's really the goal, I guess. For me, an amazing result was, if we have 100 million eyeballs on this thing, and we have all these people going, oh, I didn't realize I could do XYZ, to better my health, or to increase well-being, and make my family healthier and so forth. That is an amazing result if that's the case. And yeah, there's a book, there's all sorts of stuff. So yeah, there's a lot cooking, heaps of momentum, and yeah, super excited. So for me, as an educator in the wellness space, and having a professional body that caters to thousands of different modalities, occupations in this field, for me, it's like, it is a passion project, yeah, because it's like the icing on the top of a 3-decade career in this space, and how we can elevate everyone together.
Beautiful. Now, how far do you think we've come as a collective since The Secret? And how is this movie going to be different than The Secret? I mean, you already mentioned there's going to be an emphasis on health and wellness, but there's going to be a lot of the same speakers from The Secret. So where have we come in the last 30 years since The Secret came out in 2020 years? It came out in 2006.
Yeah. I think there's been a greater awareness of different therapies. So we've also come a long way with technology related to wellness, different devices and different ways to understand. And you say biohacking. Most people go, oh yeah, I know that, or that means taking different supplements, or using different modalities to better health and wellness. So it feels like we're going from the physical body into the conscious now, and the consciousness and spirituality. We're making that ascent. I think a lot of this started, if we go a little bit political, which I don't like to do, but like make America well again. This has been, in a way, I think it's got conversations happening that weren't happening before. There's a sense of like, how do we swing back from this illusionary world of AI online, where you look, you can't tell what's real, what's not. Like, I'm real today, yeah. But it could be a bot, right? It could be a clone of me. Yeah. So humanity, I think this is my prediction, that as the rise of AI becomes more attuned, there's a deeper interest and a desire for humanity to find what is human, what is connected, what is that human interaction. And I think that's the big swing the other way. Yeah. So yes, it's not going away, and it's going to keep, getting more and more optimized. And I think there's a deeper calling in the human animal to connect with other humans, and to know what that is like, and what's real about that. And it's not fake. It's not, it's not synthetic. It's a human connection. So I think that's a big shift as well. But yeah, overall, we just see more and more people going like, oh yeah, people who would be like, oh, that's all, fluffy, mystical, what's all that stuff,
Yeah.
to actually be like, oh yeah, no, I use that. Yeah, I do meditation. I do mindfulness practice. I'm doing breathing in the mornings, and I'm helping, myself regulate. I'm looking at my nutrition. All these things, just becomes more commonplace.
What are some of your favorite biohacks that have really moved the ball forward in your personal health journey?
Yeah, look, I'm very interested in all this, and how to probably the biggest thing for me is and what I've noticed a big shift in is about optimal sleep, and just getting really great sleep, and that's just using different teas, different formulas. Yeah, I'm finding that is really a game changer. So, I average about 7 hours sleep, and I wake up and I'm on. I'm not like dragging my butt out of bed, like I'm finding I've got that energy to get up and go, and that's just like, what am I, putting into my body? Also, red light therapy, also blue light blocking, EMF, different technologies. Got this on here, which is like, EMF blocker and stuff like that. So there's lots of different things that we can do. And that's what I'm saying, that these incredible tools are available to us now. And they're not just like, wishful thinking, hope it works. It's actually quantified, verified, peer reviewed. These things actually work. It's like, what a game changer. And we didn't have this stuff, or we might have had it, but we didn't have it verified. Yeah. So it was all a bit like, well, I'll wear this device, or I'll take this thing, and I feel like I feel better. I don't know the science, right? So it's about making yesterday's woo today's medicine. It's about having the worlds of wellness and woo collide with traditional medicine, and seeing how
That's
we
your tagline. We're the
Please.
worlds of wellness and woo collide.
Yeah. And
so
we're bringing the who's who of the woo in one place, right?
Oh my God. I'm writing that down. We're the worlds of wellness and woo collide. I love that. So tell us about the teas and the things that help you sleep better. Because I am waking up in the middle of the night and needing to listen to like a guided meditation to fall back asleep. So anything that you would recommend for all the people listening who are having a hard time staying asleep or falling asleep?
Yeah, I mean, look, and again, it depends on availability and which state you're in. But I'd also recommend CBD, THC oil, like indica, so like a relaxant type within the right quantities. You don't want to wake up high. So it's all about what's specific for your body system. And any of these recommendations, like it's very bespoke. It's unique. So it's not a one size fits all, right? You got to see.
We're not giving medical advice. If you're listening, this is just what he personally uses. But yeah, this is not a medical show. We're not doctors or anything like that. So
exactly. So this is
let's spill the tea, so to speak. What is the tea, and what are some of the products that you're taking that are helping you stay asleep?
Yeah, and so that's the medical disclaimer out of the way. So
exactly.
And again, I'm not sure what the availability of this. There's a particular bush. It's called gingerlin tea. And again, I can provide some details in the show notes and stuff for anyone who wants to look at it. But it's in Arnhem Land, which is in the northwest of Australia, and it's the Aboriginal people used to brew this tea and take it as a relaxant and as a sleep. So it's called dreaming tea. And you drink this tea and you have crazy, like awesome dreams, right? So it gets you in a very deep state, and it keeps you there for a good 6 hours. So I take that, and then I also combine that with blue lotus flower tea. And again, don't take too much, because it actually can, you can actually start to hallucinate on it if you had high volumes of it. But at the right dosage and level, it gets you into more of a deeper, relaxing state. Combine that with CBD, THC oil, not too much. Again, working the doses for your body. I sleep like a baby, and not a cranky baby, a happy baby. Yeah.
That is so great. So you've always been a big thinker. I mean, you took the wellness profession, and you're the founder of the International Institute for Complementary Therapists, which is, I mean, how many thousands of practitioners are in that organization?
Yeah, tens of thousands, and we cover over 1,400 different wellness occupations. So if you can think of it, we cover it. And so we're the largest professional body for modalities in the world. And it really started out as just, one or two modalities. It quickly grew to about 50 modalities, and then we went up to like 1,000, and now we're up, 1,400 plus modalities. So we help anyone who's like a wellness professional. Like, we're really, you could say, in the business of credibility. So we provide a global accreditation for anybody in the wellness industry who are looking to get, that verified, stamp of approval. You get a certificate that you can hang on the wall. It's like if I went to a doctor's office, and when I see, the Royal Academy of Medicine, with their name on the wall, it's a glance, but in the unconscious, it's like, oh, this guy knows his stuff, right? So if I'm a massage therapist or a coach or something like that, and I, go to the person's practice and I see the certificate of accreditation on the wall, then, there's a sense of like, I've made the right choice. So I guess that's what we do. We help create that credibility for the individual practitioners, and we also do accreditation for people providing education, the people who are producing the therapists, like schools and colleges who are helping to provide education to wellness professionals. So yeah, this is what we've been doing for a very long time now, and it's a great success, and has so much support for the industry. So yeah, and I do this because that's how I started out. I was a therapist and educator, and I was
What did
like,
you start out doing? What was your modality that you practiced or treated people with?
well, there's the more conventional, and then there's the woo-woo. So
Okay, what did you start off at?
yeah, so I did my master's in transpersonal psychology and counseling. So it was like doing counseling work with people. And I also have a long-standing background in martial arts and energy work, healing work, stuff like that. So, Reiki, uh, stuff in the shamanic traditional indigenous traditions, from Australia, from North America, and meditation instruction and things like that. So yeah, I've been a lifelong meditator, and particularly in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition and in the Advaita Vedanta traditions from India. And so yeah, I was doing counseling with people, I was doing healing sessions, energy work, trauma-based work, with clients, and then running groups, and then running various circles and all that. So yeah, it's a real mix of things. So yeah, big woo-woo candidate myself.
Like first
You teach what you know, right?
You were the first woo to hop on the bus. Now the world has caught up with you.
Oh, there's a hell of a lot of woo behind me. Like you ride on the back of giants, and there's so many incredible people and pioneers and thought leaders in this space, who have been the inspiration, who have paved the way. And some of them are with us, some of them are no longer with us. Yeah. And some of them are, in the 80s now, absolute veterans in this space, but they're still out there, making change in the world. So yeah, I mean, anything I share is because of my teachers, and I was very fortunate from a young age to have amazing mentors and teachers, and privileged to spend time with very enlightened and awakened masters. So I just feel it was very guided, my whole upbringing, and yeah, just lucky. But I wasn't sitting on my hands at home. I was out there connecting and making it happen, right? So there's this idea that if we want to create positive change, it's not enough just to go making wishes and prayers, and that's certainly a great place to start. But then we have to go, okay, I'm going to actively, get out and make those bridges and those connections to those teachers. And then, so it's this whole idea that you meet spirit or the universe halfway, yeah, or God, whatever you want to call it, right?
We're going to hold that thought because we have to go to a commercial break. But when we come back, I want to talk about some of these great spiritual paths and some of the truths that you've been studying and, that have shaped your life. So thank you everybody for listening to the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant podcast. We're going to cut to a quick commercial, and we're going to come back with some serious spiritual truths. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Do you remember slumber parties as a kid? Wearing pajamas, laughing until midnight, eating delicious food, and feeling completely free before the bills, the responsibilities, and the pressure of adult life. What if you could experience that magic again as an adult? On February 27th and 28th, I'm hosting the second Soulful Slumber Party in Cincinnati, Ohio. The first one sold out, and this experience is truly unforgettable. You'll receive luxury silk pajamas, a night at a beautiful hotel, a sacred cacao ceremony, a gentle yoga session, a professional photo shoot, my signature 7 Pillars of Abundance workshop, and an elegant dinner party with an incredible group of like-minded women. This is your chance to reconnect with your joy, your vision, and yourself. If you feel called, apply through the link in the show notes. I'll see you at the slumber party. Hey there, it's Rebecca, your magnetic abundance mentor. Let me ask you something. Are you feeling stuck, burned out, or like life just isn't as juicy as you know it can be? If you're nodding right along, it's time for a breakthrough. My coaching program is designed to help you align your life in all 7 pillars of abundance: spiritual, physical, emotional, romantic, mental, social, and financial, so you can finally live that big, bold, sexy, and adventurous life you deserve. And here's the best part. I'm inviting you to schedule a breakthrough call with me. No pressure, no sales gimmicks, just a genuine chance to experience my coaching firsthand and get crystal clear on what is next for you. Because your best life is not a someday thing, it's a right now thing. So click the link in the show notes to book your breakthrough call and let's start making magic together. Your next level is calling you. This podcast review is from Bring It On, and she says that the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant show is amazing and inspiring. She goes on to say, I believe this show is a place where women can come and really learn and grow. Rebecca creates a strong and safe space for women to share and be vulnerable. I highly recommend this podcast. Thank you so much, and it is absolutely a safe place for all women to come and learn. Thanks for being a great listener.
Don't look back, let's go. Set the pace, watch me steal the show. Higher ground,
Right back.
I'm rising fast. This is my moment, it's built to last.
Welcome back to the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant podcast. So, Lawrence, you have studied and walked so many spiritual paths with, as you so humbly said, great teachers. You said you stand on the shoulder of giants. What is the most, or one of the most, I'm sure it's hard to pick one, profound spiritual truth you've discovered along your journey with these spiritual teachers?
Yeah, I think if I'm leaning probably more into the Tibetan Buddhist teachings and initiations I received over many years, and like I said, just had the privilege to travel with some of my teachers and spend a lot of time in practice. Yeah, I would say it's really around experiencing everything from the perspective of the high, it's called like the highest view. See the situation, see the possibility, come meet challenge with curiosity, and go to the edges that feel uncomfortable and go to the edges that make you feel joyful. Like both places are learning. So I think it's like bringing the highest view, the highest joy, awareness, possibility into any situation. And if there's a challenge, like if life throws stuff at you, which it does, right? You go like, oh wow, what a gift, how interesting. Like, oh, what can I learn here? What can I discover? Rather than going into being the victim and like, oh, poor me, or the others did this thing to me. It's this idea of going, well, I'm actually going to take total responsibility for the calamity I'm in, because it's my co-creation, whether it's unconscious or conscious. And bringing possibility to challenge and go, because we often want to go towards what's pleasurable, right? It makes sense. We get stroked. We're like, oh yes, more please. If someone hits us, we're like, oh, get away. And of course, in a practical sense, if someone's being abusive, whatever, of course, it's your God-given right not to take that and to secure yourself. But if something's showing up that's challenging, or there's a difficult, I kind of call them like just difficult customers that come towards you in life, right? And it's like, well, okay, what's the gift here, and what can I do to, see the good in the situation? And it might be that someone's like really awful, right? And they are, right? Because they're disturbed, they're upset, or they've got their own traumas or whatever, and they're trying to see the world through their lens, right? And everyone has their lens to see reality. But even if someone was like the most awful person, then, it would be like, bring compassion, like, oh my God, they have to be with themselves all the time. I only spend a few minutes a day. That must be so hard for them, right? So even like that, or, you can't find any good qualities, but they have really nice shoes, and you think, oh, they've got such great shoes, right? So like even just the smallest things, my teacher would always be like, just try to find, just even if it's the tiniest goodwill or hope or joy or something that's beneficial about the difficult person, you know. Yeah. And then what's the reflection with me? Okay, where am I difficult? Where am I stubborn? Where am I arrogant or restless or whatever it is, So again, that's like leaning towards the thing that is challenging rather than try to run away from it, like gain relationship to the obstacle, and then you liberate your relationship to it, just by doing that. It's incredibly profound. But we tend to run away from what's hard, right? Or we shy away, or we try to destroy it, right? We try to bash our way through, and it's like, hey, that doesn't work either, So
Can you give
yeah.
us an example from your life that you had a challenging time or a frustrating person and how you reframed it using this teaching?
Yeah, well, I would say, I've had some exotic relationships in the past. That's the best way to put it. Like it was, challenging people, and also knowing that sometimes, like in relationships, it has its natural course, and then you need
Right.
to like find your boundary, step away, give it space, and then work with what's there. And then obviously try to find what are the good threads, and work towards a great resolution. So I think it's the philosophy of like finding the win, like the win-win, like they get something, I get something, everyone walks away, it's like doing a deal, it's not a win-lose, it's a win-win. And yeah, so I feel like, I've had lots of great life lessons. And when I have taken full responsibility for my part,
Mhm.
then then I can start where I am. Yeah, so I'm not in this place of some sort of fantasy that I wasn't somehow responsible, yeah, so I find that absolute accountability, responsibility, and ownership for the challenges and the gift that lies within is where you can start. Yeah, if you are in this space of like it was the others, it wasn't me, and I try to divert the responsibility, then of course I'm in this focal point of deficit. Yeah, it's continuing, like, okay, there's problems. So my Buddhist teacher just said, if you focus on yourself and your own problems, guess what you get more of?
Problems.
More problems, right? If you focus of contribution, service, and kindness and compassion towards others, what have you got to do? You've got lots of work to do. You got work you
Yeah.
can do, yeah, like positive things you can contribute towards. So it's such a great teaching, it's so simple. And it's also like, rising above, get out of the weeds of your self-pity or your whatever it is, even if the physical body is in pain, your mind is still free. Yeah, so it's a choice. And step up, like, you can be in the storm of life and there's wind and rain and, trees are flying, and if you rise up above the clouds, the sun is shining and, there's the beautiful view and there's serenity, but it's like the choice is like, how do I show up in life? How do I show up with calamity and go, thank you, what a gift? Yeah. Or do I go, oh, run? Like they're both choices, right? Yeah. So,
It's
and
like going from victim to victor, or getting out of the blame and shame and taking full responsibility for everything that happens to you.
exactly. And then that you bring towards you a life of freedom by doing.
That's where the freedom is.
Yeah, that's where the freedom lives, and the freedom
Yeah,
lives in the challenge too.
exactly. So
Yeah.
this is a show about going from burned out to balanced, beautiful, and abundant.
Mhm.
Many people who listen to this show are energetically exhausted because they're high achieving midlife women.
Yeah.
How do we serve others without abandoning ourselves? And I'm asking you this because you're serving tens of thousands of people all the time.
Yeah, so in all of that is the pause, the breath,
Yeah.
the carving out time for oneself, and to do things that support you to automatically find a flow state. So I would always say that anything that's one side is out of balance, right? So we're looking at balance. Look at the two scales, right? We need contribution, love, kindness, and we need self-care, balance, rest, recovery. What we're putting into our mind, what we put into our body, equally important there. So yeah, and of course this is different for everybody, right? For me, it's like getting on my motorcycle and flying really fast down the highway, safe way, or surfing, or going down the mountain on a snowboard. These are my incredible flow states. Or when I'm doing martial arts, freestyle sparring, like I get into these incredible states. And it's like training a muscle. It's the more you do something, the more it becomes part of who you are. And just like but you got to put the effort in. It's like if you go to the gym and you start lifting weights and you do it once a month, are you gonna see results? No, it's consistency over time. And so it's like catching yourself. There's how you wake up, how you get out of bed, what you do before you start your day, and at the end, and then how you show up during the day and the night, and then what happens, how do you close your day, how do you finish? I always sort of finish, I do this great practice with my daughter when I'm putting her to bed, and we spend a few minutes, say, what was great about today? And we talk about, all the wonderful things, but we always say one thing every time, and it's like, and right now. Yeah. What's great about today, right now? Because actually that's where the moment happens, right? It's not in the past, it's not in the future. It's always here, and it's gone in a moment. So I think acknowledging the joy in the present moment is the incredible gift. That's why they call it the present, right? And that's stolen from Kung Fu Panda. I didn't make that one. Master Oogway from the Kung Fu Panda. But yeah, no, it is true though. Yeah, the gift is the present moment. And so bringing presence into how you show up, and putting the phone away, creating the spaciousness, taking the deep breath, put your feet in the earth. We're human animals. We're not meant to be in this intense field all the time. It's like, how do you ground? How do you find your happy place in nature? What is that? And you say to some people, go for a hike if you can, or find a place, even if it's just a small area in the back of your house or something, like a quiet place, or whatever it is, So I think there's always a possibility. It's like you make good of what you have, and then you dream into the reality you wish to become, and then the universe catches up and it collides, and then you start to become that. Yeah. So it all comes from this incredible gift of our vision, of our possibility. And if we just support and hold that and cherish it like a newborn, and we raise it, then we start to flourish into that being. That's the gift. And it's like, wow, so many people miss it because they're so busy, on the treadmill. If I get this thing done, then I'll be happy. Or once I hit this milestone, then I'll be happy. Well, happy is right here. It's happening right now. Like, it's right there in front of us, and you just got to, get the sleep out of your eyes and go, oh, there it is. So my teacher used to say, if you could see yourself the way I see you, you would be walking around with a mirror all day.
Aw, that's a sweet teacher.
You look in the mirror and you're just like, oh my God, the beauty, the wonder, the possibility, amazing. Yeah. But we don't look in the mirror all day, right? And it's not vanity. It's actually the idea of like celebrating what's possible, and that's an amazing thing to do.
Beautiful. And happiness is not an acquisition, it's a decision, I like to say. We want to put happiness out there. Like, I'll be happy when I graduate, when I get married, when I have a kid, when I live in a certain house, when I take a vacation. It's like you're putting your happiness out there. Happiness is an internal decision. You can be happy no matter what.
Yeah, one day when, right? Well, that's always one day away, right? It's never here, now and here. So, what if one day is today?
Exactly. So we're going to cut again to a very quick commercial. Everyone, thank you so much for listening to the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant show. We'll be right back. Okay, can I be real for a second? You're out there crushing it in some areas of your life, but in others, it's like a hot mess express. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. You're not just meant to survive, you're meant to thrive. And that's exactly what I help my clients do in my coaching program. Together, we'll tackle all 7 pillars of abundance, because who wants killer abs but a dumpster fire of a bank account? Or a thriving career but 0 in the romance department? Yeah, no thanks. I'm inviting you to schedule a breakthrough call with me. No pressure, no awkward sales pitch, just you, me, and a chance to figure out why you're stuck and how to get unstuck. So stop doom scrolling and start doing something about it. Click the link in the show notes and let's start giving you your best, most bougie life. You in? I want to share something personal that has truly changed how I feel in my body. Like so many women, I was eating healthy, working out, and doing all the right things, but still my metabolism felt slower. I was holding on to belly fat, craving sweets, and my energy wasn't consistent. That's when I started using the Ever Balance and GBX Slim to Fit Duo. What I noticed from these 2 supplements was incredible. My belly fat started to release, my cravings for sugar went way down, and I had a steady, consistent energy flow throughout the day. I didn't feel like I was fighting my body anymore. It finally felt like my body was supporting me. This duo works at the hormonal and metabolic level, which is especially important for women in midlife. I feel more confident, energized, and more like myself again. If you're ready to support your metabolism and step into your most vibrant, magnetic self, go to the link in the show notes to grab your discount.
Don't look back, let's go. Set the pace, watch me steal the show. Higher ground, yeah, I'm rising fast.
Show. We'll be right back.
This is my moment, it's built to last.
All right. What role, Lawrence, does devotion rather than hustle play in building a meaningful and lasting business? Because you have built this humongous global international institute for complementary therapists, 14 modalities, thousands and thousands of certified practitioners. What does devotion rather than hustle play in building a business like this?
Yeah, so I mean, I would describe, hustle as just, the the basic things that one has to get on with, right? There's all the structure, it's the strategy, it's all the things that you need to do to make that into reality. The devotion is about the spirit you bring to the hustle, and it's the spirit you bring to yourself, and the wish to uh, enrich and support others on the journey. So again, it's the orientation away from self, but more towards devotion and contribution to others. So we,
Beautiful.
yeah, and we all do it, right? We all have this like, oh, what's in it for me? Or hang on, what am I getting out of this deal? And
Yeah.
yes, that's present, and that's also practical, because we've got to keep the lights on and pay the bills, and we've got to do what we've got to do in life, right? But we also have a choice around, going to this place of devotion towards cherishing others. And when we do that, we have, it's like putting your foot on the accelerator on the car. Yeah. We go faster through life because we're not self-centered, self-orientated. And it's not about being a martyr and like, it's the complete opposite of that. Actually, it's about, having surplus to meet life. And I think when we have surplus, that we have more to give. And when we balance that with looking after ourselves and time for reflection and filling our own cup as well. Yeah. So, they have the whole, I'm on planes all the time, and, there's always like, be sure to put your oxygen on before you help someone else.
Right.
It's pretty good advice, right? So I'd say, yeah, put yours on and, look after others as well. But of course, if you don't look after yourself, if you are in absolute deficit, that's like saying, well, I really need oxygen, but I just got to get that one more email done, or I've got to get that one more thing done, yeah. And then it's like, oh, hang on, you died, yeah. So, like, yeah, that all the interviews they do of people who are, on their deathbed, and they're like, no one ever said, oh, I wish I worked more, I wish I had more meetings, I wish I had, more appointments. They're like, I wish I spent more time with friends. I wish I did things that for myself. I wish I told the person I loved them more, or whatever it was, right? I had more time with my children. It's not like that we go, oh, I wish I had more appointments, or I wish I got an extra 100 emails done today. Like, come on, you know, yes. So it's also, the hustle is leveraging your time, winning back your time by surrounding yourself with people who are far more accomplished and love to do things you don't like to do. So I think on the hustle side, like if you are finding resistance with a particular task or job, it's your unconscious telling you that you should not do it. So
Ooh, repeat that.
yeah,
That's the tweetable. Just say that again.
yeah. So procrastination is a sign from your unconscious that you should actually get someone else to do it. Surround yourself by someone who will help you, who actually loves doing that. Like for me, like I can do my finances and bookkeeping and my accounting, and I do not like it. Yeah, and I'm not good at it, but I could do it, but I don't really actually want to do it. So I have a bookkeeper. I have someone who helps with the finance side. And gives informed strategy to support it. I don't have to do it all, right? I surround myself by the people who get lit up with that idea of doing accounting and bookkeeping, and that they find it very wonderful and exciting and challenging. And I feel like I'm about to fall asleep talking about it because it's not my thing, but I could do it. But should I? Yeah. So it's that. I think it's the idea of like choosing your battles, choose the things that work for you, and if there's resistance, it's not lazy. It's actually just saying, hey, someone else is probably way better at this. So I think you can't become the expert at everything. You just can't. And nor should you. And I say this as an overachiever myself, right? But find the people who are in your corner and let them support you and guide you as well.
Delegate, right? Just
Yeah.
delegate so you have more freedom. You spoke before in this interview about some of the things that you love to do to get into a flow state, like motorcycle, snowboarding, meditating. How can we get the ego out of our relationships and our activities so that we can go faster and easier into a flow state? I like to say the ego is not your amigo. So yet we all have one. So what do you do with all your different spiritual teachings to get under the thumb, get away from the ego?
Well, yeah. So firstly, I'd say don't get away from the ego. Embrace it. Like, let it be your ally. Because the ego is also like it's an intelligently designed entity that was created in early childhood to keep you alive, keep you safe. And it may not serve the adult, but it served the child. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're really getting deep. Okay, let's double click on this.
So I would say gain relationship to the ego, because the ego is a useful tool, and it may not serve you. So I kind of liken it a bit to puppy dog training.
Okay.
Puppy school. So the ego is like the puppy, and you like sit and it goes running around and does anything. You can bring it back, right? So it's like meditation practice as well, like the thoughts that we go, oh, hang on, I'm thinking about a song, or I'm lamenting about that person who cut me off in the traffic yesterday, and so it's this sort of practice of like bring the mind back, bring the puppy to sit and be still and wait and go, okay. And how interesting, the puppy constantly running off, like how do we bring it back, and then let it play, let it have its freedom, then bring it back, so it's this relationship to the ego that we again befriend it. It's not let's kill the ego. No, the ego is an awesome intelligence system to keep you safe, and say, oh, that's okay. So you dialogue with the part. You could say, as a practice, you could be like, something that might be trauma informed from your past arises, and then you go, oh, okay, yeah, that's my ego, wanting to keep me safe, but that situation isn't here now. Yeah, so then I reparent my inner child. I reparent the part of me that's in fear or contraction, and say, I'm here. Yeah. You be your child's father or mother or best friend or ally. Yeah. And transform the obstacle and go, gain relationship, change it, work with it, let it be your ally. Yeah.
So
they have
don't
these.
resist, because what you resist persists. If you resist the ego, then it'll probably get even stronger and angrier. So just appease it and work with it and change your relationship to it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Let it be your ally. It's don't slay the dragon. It can be your pet.
Yes. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the inner shift you hope people who watch the new Woo experience?
Yeah, I think an idea that there's possibility, that one doesn't have to be stuck. One can connect with different practices or healing methods or human optimizations or techniques that can help us to navigate life more completely. So that would be a good outcome. I think people see that and they go, oh, I didn't realize I could do X, Y, Z for my mental health or so that I could see things in a new light, in a new way of being. So yeah, I kind of see it as a bit of a resource kit or a toolkit, and then you're faced with a particular job or situation in life and you go, oh, I'll grab that tool and that'll do the job. Yeah, there's always a tool for everything, right? And we don't need them all the time, but it's good to know what's possible, what's out there. So I think all the incredible thought leaders we're bringing together for this film will be showcasing the tools, right? And then it's like, okay, well, that's the thing I need, life's a bit like a all-you-can-eat buffet, it's like a salad bar or whatever, right? And you're not going to want to eat everything, and you can't, right? But you want to try a bit of this, try a bit of that, and you go, I'm going back for seconds for that one. I really like that thing. Yeah. So the smorgasbord of spiritual teachings and practices and people who are thought leaders in this space, they're going to be, on display, and you go, okay, yeah, I want to try this thing, I resonate well with that. So it's this idea that we will have a certain sympathetic resonance towards the things that will support us, and the universe is always giving us clues. It's like going, oh, here, there's this, so anyone listening to this, it's like, well, you're here for a reason, right?
Yes.
Like, we want to get a bit woo-woo.
Mm-hmm.
The universe conspired for you to listen to this right now, to listen to what I'm saying, and being connected to this show, that is for a reason. And then you use your discriminating wisdom. You say, okay, does that feel right? Do I want to connect with that? And then you can explore further. And if not, also great. Like I really don't mind. It's not personal. It's not about me at all. So it's just facilitating connection, opportunities to better ourselves, and I think that's the outcome.
All right. Well, now we're going to do rapid fire. Are you ready?
All right. I'll put my armor on and my crash helmet. Yeah.
All right, let's go. So, what is a word that describes the current collective awakening?
I would say sympathetic resonance.
What does that mean?
It just means that something turns you on, and then you're in proximity to others that are on the same frequency. So if I have two guitars that are tuned, and I strum the G string or whichever string or a chord on the other guitar, the same frequency will start to vibrate. Yeah. So that's sympathetic resonance on a very practical level. On a spiritual, emotional level, if I'm vibrating on a frequency of generosity or joy, for example, like, classic example, someone starts cracking up laughing in a group, and what happens?
Everybody laughs.
Everyone starts laughing, or there might be someone who's really disturbed.
Right.
So it's one or the other. So there's sympathetic resonance when we all laugh together, and the ones that are not sympathetically, resonantly aligned, is that even a word? They don't laugh, they're disturbed. It's a different frequency. Yeah. So getting back to your question, I think it's this idea that like attracts like. As we put something into the world, then we'll automatically start to attract. And that's going back to one of your first questions from The Secret. The secret was all around like manifestation. What are we creating? And that's obviously alive in this film, but it's also like, what are the practical optimizations? How do we integrate this with health and wellness, and what therapies we could explore? So I didn't answer that question. I just remembered from before, but it's this, that's the bridge, right? It's like traditional ways of healing and consciousness and psychology. And it's like, what are the spiritual practices that support it?
Love it. All right. The spiritual practice that shaped you the most.
Gosh, lots of them. I think, I mean, there's so many, but I think probably the one that stands out most is really around mindfulness practice and bringing the awareness into every moment. So I'd say presence is probably one of the biggest grounding pillars in my life, and I lose presence all the time. But I also keep working on it, right? So I have it as like a core value of mine, presence, because if I'm present, I don't miss the moment and I get to experience life
I like
versus
to say, don't be perfect. Don't be perfect. Be present.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
A daily
habit. There's imperfection with a lack of presence, right? And there's perfection with it. Yeah.
Yes, perfectionism is a lack of presence because you're like putting everything out again outside of you. And what is perfection, right? A daily habit.
It's our own definition, actually. That's what perfection is, right? And it might be a false construct. So we should check.
You're going to have to come back on part 2 because we're almost done with the podcast and we keep opening great topics.
Happy to come and talk again, for sure.
Okay. Daily habit or practice that you won't miss no matter what?
Just taking the pause and breathing. I think that is really good. And also, like, if there's reaction in life, like they say, like, intelligence is pressing pause before pressing send. Like you might be in reaction, and then you'd be like, oh, like I say, if you're upset, write the letter to the person, but don't send it. Just burn it or delete it. Because at least process it, work with what's there, and then go, okay, check yourself. What's my relationship to this thing? So if there's a disturbing emotion, like, look at it like a scientist looking, through a petri dish through the microscope. Like, oh, how interesting! Look at all those interesting little organisms running around. All those disturbing emotions. How interesting. Okay, what do we do with them? Like, not like, oh, they're bad or they're wrong or I'm wrong or that it's bad. Just go like curiosity. How interesting. Look at me, I'm getting upset. Oh, look at me, I'm agitated. What's that about? Yeah. Rather than go, oh, make it wrong or they're wrong or whatever. Like, that doesn't help.
I love that. What is your definition of enlightenment?
I'd say actually a constant state of total joy and emptiness and bliss arising and falling in every moment. One teacher I spent some time with, I asked him, because this guy is completely awake, right? From my experience. I said, what's it like to be you? And he says, he's like this old man. He said, I'm like a naked child running on the beach in total joy all the time.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, yeah, that's what, and that is how he is all the time, right? Yes, he's got his clothes on, he's an old man, but in his mind, he's just in state of ecstatic joy, exploding into joy, and again and again and again, like wonder. So I think the people who are truly awake are in this constant state of wonder, like a child. Like, oh, what's that? Oh, wow. Like amazing, So they're in this state of amazement and joy, spontaneous, like amazing, and that's so beautiful. Children demonstrate it all the time, actually. I go like, oh, thank you, my great teacher, my child, right? Wow, thank you. What a gift.
Amazing. Yeah. And dogs have it too.
Totally, right? Yeah. Well, Annie.
They're in wonder.
Yeah.
Dogs are my spiritual teachers.
Yeah.
A teaching or mantra that you return to again and again, and that's the last question.
I would say a mantra would be yes.
Yes, just keep saying yes and surrendering.
Yeah, yes, surrender, yes, surrender, yes, surrender. Because if we're constantly like, no, push back, we're not getting the lesson. So yes to doesn't mean don't have boundaries, but it's like yes to the inquiry of what arises in consciousness, and then go, how do I lean in? What's my relationship? And then go, okay, what can I do? And what's my contribution? Yeah, rather than the poor me and it was the others. We're sitting in a bed of thorns and we're like, oh, these thorns are so painful and it's so horrible. And look, everyone, I'm in the thorns. Get off your ass. Get out of the thorns. It's your choice. Or ask for help if you need to lift up, But you're the one who put yourself in there, So instead of looking around going, oh, who put me here? Oh, hang on, that was me, right? So responsibility, and take the chance to lean in and support yourself. And then you have surplus to help others too.
Beautiful. Well, we're all going to want to watch the new Woo. So where can we see the movie and how can people stay in touch with you, Lawrence?
Yeah, well, we're in casting, so it's not done yet. But yeah, we'll be releasing the film in 2027. So yeah, but probably the best way to stay connected with me would be on lawrenceellyard.com. And I think you might have that in the notes or something. You can provide that link. You can find me on Instagram, Lawrence_Ellyard. And yeah, anything related to the project or what I'm up to usually ends up there, or on the webpage. So I think there's probably some good protocols. And I guess any wellness professionals that are looking for a global accreditation, they would go to myiict.com, which is the acronym for the professional accreditation body that I run. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll probably put those in the notes for anyone, and links can go out. But yeah, happy to support and share that knowledge and that wisdom out into the world. And yeah, it's been absolutely a joy to do the show with you. So thanks for giving me the invitation and the privilege to be here.
Thank you, Lawrence. And thank you, listeners, for going on the journey with me that you can achieve success in life through alignment, not the hustle and grind. Please share this episode with a friend. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And until we meet again, keep your vibe high and magnetize. Bye, everyone. So excited to share a review from Melissa Myers, the Glow Girl. She says, inspiring podcast. Rebecca has a gift for creating meaningful, empowering conversations that leave you feeling inspired and uplifted. Balanced, beautiful, abundant is like sitting down with a wise, soulful friend who truly wants you to thrive in every area of your life. I love how she blends practical advice with spiritual insights. I'm so grateful I found it. Well, Melissa, we're so grateful that you found us, and we can't wait to find out how you are glowing and growing by using this podcast as a tool. And everybody who's listening and sharing, thank you so much for your support. And it's such a joy to be on this journey with you.